Support the victims of crime. I have ordered the Department of Homeland Security to create an office to serve American victims. The office is called VOICE, Victims of Immigration Crime Engagement. We are providing a voice to those who have been ignored by our media and silenced by special interests.
In Trump We Trust, E pluribus, awesome. And Coulter, you love that moment. They were hissing.
I think we got our ad for 2018, 2020. What is so great about that is it is the Democrats' natural reaction to hearing about the American victims of illegal immigrant crime. They didn't have time to think. They just think, oh, screw those Americans. They probably deserved it. No, they immediately, automatically take the side of the illegal immigrant criminal. It was an astonishing, revealing moment right there. And I don't think they're showing that on the other networks. They want to pretend it didn't happen.
And the president mentioned a couple of instances last night. I did a town hall with Donald Trump, then candidate Trump, with mothers whose sons were murdered by illegal immigrants. Right. Nobody seems to ever want to talk about that part.
Right, and it's worth pointing out also, because everyone is lying about this, everything he said in that speech last night, he has been saying for 18 months or however long since he came down the escalator and talked about Mexico sending rapists and drug dealers. Nothing was new in that. And this idea that, oh, suddenly he looks like a president. No, this is I mean, saying he's putting America first. He's not running to be president of the world, but president of the United States of America. What would you say, he says to the Democrats, to the American family that's lost jobs, family members, income, because we refuse to enforce our immigration laws? He's been saying this every speech. Where have you people been? And the idea that they used to say this, what kind of State of the Union address will he give if he's sending out tweets like this? Well, come on, everybody knows you speak differently to your boss than you do to your child than you do to your mother. I always knew, I mean, he's a billionaire. He knows how to behave. It was the same message he has been giving all along, but delivered in a proper State of the Union format. And nobody else in that room, not Republicans or Democrats, could have given that speech.
Maybe earlier in the campaign, because it was so new, I didn't know how it would work out. I'm now the biggest fan of him tweeting. He actually had a great line. It's like owning your own newspaper. Yes. And if you have as many followers as him, he's getting more people reading his, quote, columns than any newspaper or any major group of newspapers combined.
And it drives the left crazy. I see them over on MSNBC saying, well, we took a poll, and, most people out in America say he shouldn't tweet so much. Yeah, okay, you checked in the newsroom. I bet you don't want him to tweet so much. But, yeah, he can punch back through Twitter. And it's fun and it's funny, and I actually do really like him doing that. But that speech last night, I mean, there were so many revealing moments. As you say, the Democrats sitting on their hands when he says we're going to stop drugs from coming into the country, when he says we're bringing 10,000 jobs back, and they're sitting scowling, and those women in white, those big sows, the most exercise they've gotten, they finally figure out, oh, we've got to stand for this. It's like Pilates for them. That speech was fabulous.
Amazing.
And they're not showing it on the other networks. I'm glad you're showing lots of clips from it, because I was watching it thinking, what are they going to say about this? I mean, every line was a home run. So they're just not showing it. This is what they did throughout the campaign. He would give a blockbuster speech, like a speech in Phoenix. And their position is to just say, trust us, America. You don't want to see it. It was dark. It was awful. And that's what we keep getting. Look, there was nothing new here. It was a beautiful speech. He loves America. No one else could give this speech. One little tip for the media. Stop asking him if he's softening on immigration.
He's not. He's him.
All these rumors keep coming from reporters. Yeah. It's the damnedest thing, because he's been very clear about how immigration, the new lodestar of our immigration policy, will be the interests of the people who already live here. Very clear point. How many different ways does he have to say it? And yet they just can't stop asking.
You worried?
Look at it from the perspective of the poor illegal. No, we're looking at it from the perspective of the poor Americans.
Are you worried about Republicans in Congress?
Oh, yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, there's only one senator who is desperately trying to become my favorite senator, Senator Tom Cotton. And actually, there are a fair number of House members. But no, those guys need to be knocked around. I think so, though. I'm not even sure. I mean, I don't know that many House members. But there seem to be a few good ones. But as I wrote last week, stop imitating Reagan and start imitating Donald Trump right now.
Yeah, and they would be good for them politically, and the country gets turned around, and our place in the world gets restored.
I think they may end up getting some Trumpian primary challengers. And
I think you're right.
I've always been against primary challenges to safe seats. No, I think we might want to open it up if they don't
step up.
Yeah.
All right. Ann Coulter, good to see you. Thank you.
Good to see you.
Up next, President Trump reached across the aisle numerous times last night, asked the Democrats work with Republicans on behalf of you, the American people. Will they stop being obstructionists? Don't hold your breath. Larry Elder, Ari Fleischer, Anthony Scaramucci will join us, and also later tonight.
That's why she's there, as a sort of a FU to the people who are criticizing him for this.
Liberals lashing out at President Trump. Why? For honoring the widow of a fallen Navy SEAL. It doesn't get any lower than this. We'll have that and more straight ahead.
It's going to get worse every day in the media. And here's why. But by the way, the internal logic makes sense. They're corporatist, globalist media that are adamantly opposed to an economic nationalist agenda like Donald Trump has. It's going to get worse because he's going to continue to press his agenda. And as economic conditions get better, as more jobs get better, they're going to continue to fight. If you think they're going to give you your country back without a fight, you are sadly mistaken.
Welcome back. As we mentioned in the angle, some politicians are using the New York City terror attack to foment a totally false narrative about terrorism and immigration. To make matters worse, the media, they seem to have no problem advancing this storyline. For example, just hours after the attack, NBC News offered this headline: Muslim Americans again brace for backlash after New York attack. Their concern for the 8 dead victims is just positively overwhelming. The Associated Press posted a tweet this morning saying, quote, investigators seek motive after driver in a rented truck mowed down people on a bike path in New York City. Motive? He yelled Allahu Akbar after he carried out the attack and requested an ISIS flag in his hospital room. You don't need to be Columbo to figure that one out. Joining us for reaction here in Washington is Democratic strategist and adjunct professor David Goodfriend. And in New York is Ann Coulter, a nationally syndicated columnist. It's great to see both of you. Ann, let's start with you. I mean, the cries of Islamophobia. I mean, how long did it take, Ann? Maybe, I don't know, 15 minutes after the terror attacks in New York? It's like clockwork.
6 hours, NBC News in a tweet, for those keeping count. No, the media is very, very predictable. The media is on the side of the Democrats, and the Democrats haven't been changing any minds recently. It's not like they have good ideas. They're bringing in ringers. They want this constant transformation of America so that they can win elections. In fact, it's come up just this week with the Virginia election, I think it was in the Washington Post, no, the New York Times, Democrats fretting that maybe all of the Hispanics that have moved into Virginia may not come out and vote for the Democrat against Gillespie. This is all about the vote for the Democrats. For the Republicans, the corrupt Republicans, it's all because their donors want the cheap labor. But don't imagine that Democrats are changing any minds here.
David, on the issue of this diversity visa program, where 50,000 individuals get it's a lot. It's like a Powerball for visas. Is that really where we should be today, given the labor market, given the fact that, you know, we have a lot of still minorities who are looking for work, who need better jobs, and I don't really get it. We're a pretty diverse country, increasingly diverse now. Why do we need a diversity program?
Well, look, Laura. First of all, I come from the upper Midwest. I know about factories that have shut down, and I know a lot of the concerns about finding jobs for people here at home. But I want the first words I say about this to be that I'm thinking about the families of those 8 people. I think we all should take a deep breath and realize real people were killed, real people are hurt, and we shouldn't allow ourselves to be terrorized by the terrorists. I'm going to ride my bike down a path here in Washington, D.C. tomorrow. I'm going to ride the metro. I won't be intimidated These are the kind of things we should be talking about, unifying us as a nation,
that's kind of a
bringing us
cliche.
together.
I mean, I like you, David. Don't get me wrong. You're a great guy. But, I mean, that's just the stuff we hear all the time. I'm resilient. Of course we're resilient. We're Americans. We all know that.
Well, but you asked about the program. You asked about that visa program.
But they would be alive if we didn't have that cockamamie program in place.
Well, that's like, well, okay, but hold on. That's like me saying, but Laura, that's like me saying there'd be people alive in Las Vegas if we didn't have assault weapons for sale. How do you react to that?
Well, I think in this case, we have a Second Amendment that actually gives us the right to keep and bear arms.
You would argue that
you don't have a constitutional right to come into the United States
I'm going to get some
from
insight.
Uzbekistan.
You're helping me.
That's
Give
right.
me insight into the mind of a conservative. So because the Second Amendment is there, you think that the shooting and the gun sales are okay. But because we can talk about a law here that passed in 1990, that's completely
That's a tautology. That's not exactly what I'm saying.
Okay, what are you
saying? What I'm saying. I think liberals have gone too far. This is why Trump got elected, and I think everyone gets their blinders on. You know, Ann's written books about this. You know, I've talked about it for years. We get in our blinders and we think, okay, we have the right answers. But you forget that most people in the country aren't all that political. Most people don't really care about politics. They want food on the table. They want safety.
Agreed.
They want security. They maybe save a little for retirement. This seems to make not a lot of sense to most Americans. I bet if you did a poll on this, and Ann, you can chime in, just on this issue of the diversity visa, you ask like a random guy in upstate New York, should we have a diversity visa? You ask people down south, maybe even California, it's Hispanic immigrants, Ann. They're not seeing a lot of hikes in their wages either. Do you think they're all, yeah, we need more diversity? I don't think so. I think the Democrats make a mistake on this one.
You keep bringing up, I think, a fantastic point. You've brought it up with all of your guests, and I would like to more fully answer it, and that is this religion of diversity. No, diversity is just treated like it's automatically a good thing, like the word organic. And we have diversity plus lottery, because, you know, that's how Kate Upton picks who she's going to date. She has a lottery. Otherwise, professional sports players and rock and rollers, they'd have the inside track. You know, the Astros should be getting chess players and the AV team.
Could I ask Anna a
guy with club foot. It's crazy. We are the greatest country in the world. We should be choosing our people who are going to be our fellow citizens the way the Astros and the Dodgers choose their players and not be taking people with club feet. It's our choice. And whenever Americans find out the way any aspect of our immigration policy is run, it is not popular. The Democrats don't want to talk about it. Unfortunately, until Donald Trump, no Republican wanted to talk about it either.
Yep, bingo.
Well, Ann, I want to ask you this question because I'm really curious to know the answer. There was a legislative proposal put forward by Republicans and Democrats to get rid of this program and have a blanket reform that was rejected in the House. Do you support that? Do you support that bipartisan effort to reform immigration?
It was rejected as part of a plan to amnesty 30 million illegal aliens.
So you don't support it.
So no, we would like to get rid of the diversity lottery. We do not want to amnesty 30 million illegals.
Well, see, that's interesting.
We have a hard break here, guys, but this is a great segment and a really good conversation. I want to have you both back. Phenomenal. Thanks for being with us.